Welcome to camPAIN. As you see here, we have our main window where the user can sign up for their account. There are two types of accounts. There's a user account and an admin account, and you have your username and your group ID. So when you create an admin account, you specify a group ID that you'd like, along with your username and password, which will give you access to the web portal. And with that group ID and group password, then you can have other users use that same group ID and password to join their group. This connects to the database and is stored to keep track of player progress, and so the admin can keep track of all that for the user. Here, I'm going to log in just as one of our sample accounts to show you the mechanics of the gameplay. So as you log in, you're taken to this main menu, giving you a couple different options. As you see in the top right here, the username, your current votes for your current game, and your total high score, which is a cumulative of votes that you've received through all the games you've played. We can go ahead and continue a game from last session. As you see, I haven't beat any of the levels yet. But let's go ahead and go back and take a look at the characters that we have in this camPAIN game. So here are our campaigners. We have Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, John Kasich, and Ted Cruz. If you go ahead and click on any one of these campaigners, you can see just a little bio about them and learn a little bit about their history, where they're from, and a little bit about what they're up to now. We go back to the main menu. Let's go ahead and start a new game. So when you're starting a new game, you're given two options. You can take a quiz, which will match you with the most compatible candidate, so you can find out who who you side with the most, or you can also go ahead and just select one of the characters if you want. So there we just selected a character. I'm going to go ahead and drop out, which means that I just ended my game and I don't want it to save any of the progress, just because I want to show you guys that you can take this quiz, which has a couple different questions that you can answer truthfully or false, however you want. Oh, I matched with Hillary again. Okay, now once we're in the continued game window, we have our user, which is right here, and we have our username, the votes for the current game, and our high score there. On this screen, you have your different levels. You start out with an introduction, which is you play against yourself. Okay. And now here's our game screen. This game screen, it has a question here which asks you about your opponent. So it's asking, what does Hillary think about this subject here? And you answer based on how Hillary would answer. I'm going to go ahead and just try A. Oh, I got it right. If you get the question right, you're allowed to then beat up your opponent using the physics world of the box 2D. If you push the space bar, it drops a little hidden item that your candidate has. So you play the game, you fight for a couple seconds, I believe it's 10 to 15 seconds, and then you move on to the next question. Once again, it's asking me another question about my opponent, which is for myself, just so I can familiarize myself with Hillary's views a little bit more. I got that one wrong. 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 Oh, I got another one right. As you see, if I get another question right, my opponent's sprite updates to a more beaten up image sprite, just to add more effects to the game and show that you are currently, beating up the opponent. Turns out I lost that debate because I didn't have more votes than my opponent. In order to win a debate, you must get 3 out of the 5 questions correct. So if I go back to the screen, it shows that I didn't win, but I can go ahead and play against any of these other opponents of my choosing. And once when I beat them, then these buttons become green, and once when all 5 buttons become green, that means that you have won. And a nice pop-up window comes up and says, you have been elected into the Oval Office. Congratulations. Another feature from this window that you can do is you can go ahead and mess with your own world settings. So if you want, you can make your opponent extra bouncy. You can add some different gravity effects. I'm going to go ahead and just increase that up a little bit. And let's try and look at what that looks like playing against Ted Cruz. So real quickly, I'm going to try to get an answer right. As you see, my opponent is a lot more bouncy. With more physics applied to him, I can bounce him around the screen a lot more, where my body stays the same. I'm going to go ahead and try and beat this round just so I can show you that the next, on the continued game window, it shows the success. May have to think about this one a little bit. Uh-oh. It's do or die here. And just to mention, all of these questions and answers are stored on a database. None of these are stored locally. They're all accessible from the database. That way we can add and manipulate the questions as need be for future elections and whatnot. I believe it's either B or D. Oh, it was C. So I lost. Well, but yeah, so all of the questions there on these games are currently stored on the database as such. So, go back to the menu. All right, so let's go back to the main menu. I didn't beat any of the levels, unfortunately. I'd have to take some more time reading the questions and playing the game. But as you see, you can go to the leaderboard, which brings you to this, this is the global leaderboard, which shows from all of the users, who is the highest. Currently our test user is the highest. And then you can also click on this button here, and it'll take you to the group leaderboard. However, our group is the same as these people. But if you create your own group, you can specify and narrow down that leaderboard to show just a local group. And there you have it. There's our main application. We also have the web portal, which if you come to the web portal here and log in with your admin account, you can view the leaderboard. And if you want to check on a player's progress, you can click on their login ID, and it shows you who their current candidate is and if they've beaten, which candidates they've beaten. So Jake's high score, he's played this game a lot. It's at 67,000, but in his current game, he hasn't beat any of his opponents. If we go back to the leaderboard, perhaps somebody else has. So here we have Boo, who's currently Bernie Sanders. She currently has 4,000 votes, and she has defeated, looks like, 4 candidates. So she just needs one more, and she'll win. So there's the web portal for the campaign, for the admin accounts. And there you have it. There's our educational app. Thanks for watching.